Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial. In this episode we're going to learn how to make a beer advert, and the image I produced was inspired by a beer company in Portugal that has been making the rounds in terms of good marketing campaigns, and I decided to try that image myself with a few twists. Of course, we obviously start with modeling the beer bottle, which will be seen fast forward right now, as it's quite simple. I just used a background image and modeled, starting with a circle, applied the solidify modifier and a subdivision modifier. So we have just modeled the bottle. Now onto the bottle cap. The bottle cap has a few tricks, but it's also nothing too complex. First, we add a circle. Can be composed of 32 vertices, that's okay. I'm going to scale it to the correct size according to this image I have. And let's see, in regards to the bottle, let's do approximately the same diameter. That's good enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into edit mode. We will select all of the vertices. Let me just put screencast keys. I always forget. Incredible. And what we're going to do is we're going to check or deselect. So we press select, check or deselect, and this selects every other vertex. And we're going to scale it down, so it kind of looks like a star shape. We're going to select everything again, but now we choose one of the unselected vertices, like here, and we will do the same, check or deselect. We will increase the diameter of these. Now we have this star looking object. I will press A and A again to select all of the vertices, and I will extrude up like so. Yeah, this should be good enough. Then I'm going to extrude it once more in a very small displacement. I will press 7 so I get a top view. I forget about this image. I will repeat the process of check or deselecting, and we will make this shape return to a circle shape. It only has to be approximately the same. It doesn't have to be exactly equal. I will select everything. I will create a small displacement like so. That can be a bit down again. I shall extrude it, and now I will put the image again so I'm aware of the overall size, and I will start closing this shape and then close it pressing F. Here in this area I will extrude down. I will select one of these inner vertices, check or deselect. I will increase its size slightly, and this should have a very cap, a bottle cap look when I apply the subdivision modifier, like so. Of course, there are there are quite a bit of variance of types of caps. You do the one you most like. I like this aspect. I think I'm just going to increase the diameter of these bottom vertices. I will create a loop cut right here, and decrease the size, and I will add another loop cut here, and increase its size like so. And this is looking pretty good for what we want. Just going to select these bottom ones again, extrude, press S, and just resize it, just so it goes a bit inward. I guess we can also add a solidify modifier, like so. And I think this looks good enough. Let me see. Yeah, I like this. I think it's it's also proportional to the overall size. We can just size it in the Z direction a bit. Like so. Oops, let's just put 0.5 millimeters. And this is looking good enough. Okay, so this is the bottle cap. I'm going to produce a copy, pressing Shift D. I will put it here on the side. I'm going to select this one again, and what I'm going to do is I want to modify its overall structure so it looks like an open bottle. And for that effect, I'm going to select this area right here. I'm going to turn on proportional editing. I'm going to rotate it in the Y direction. I'm going to do something along these lines. Like so. I'm going to turn off proportional editing, or at least I'm going to stay on proportional editing. I'm just going to reduce the area. Let me see. Let's select these vertices. And like so. So like this, we have a bottle cap that looks opened. And I think this is all for the bottle cap. Next, we're going to produce the foam. So, onwards to the foam. The foam is the key to make this render really stand out, because it gives the fresh look we are looking for, and it's probably the hardest part. After the foam, it's all easy peasy from there. So the way I will do this is I go to edit mode in the bottle. I select everything using A. I always forget the screencast keys, unbelievable. So I go into edit mode, select everything. I'm going to deselect these top vertices, because I want to make an object that will represent our beer. So I go all the way up like so, perhaps not as high. I'm going no, this is okay. It's a full bottle. It was just opened, so I guess the limit of the liquid can be here. I'm going to press Shift D so I can produce a copy. Then I press ESC because I want it in exactly the same position. I will press P to separate it, and I will press here separate by selection. So now I have a different object, and if I go into object mode again, I've got my bottle, and if I press again, I've got my beer. And I will write it here in the name so I won't forget. And I will just do a simple thing. I will resize it, because for also before that I will turn off the solidify modifier. Oops, I pressed 2 times. I just want to get rid of the solidify modifier, because obviously our beer is not a solid object, it's a liquid. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it so that the beer is between the limits of, or between the thickness of the bottle. This is a tip I got from one of Blender tutorials, Blender Guru tutorials, I mean. He has a video on how to make a realistic glass of beer, and he talks about how to make a liquid feel realistic, and he talks about how the impression it gives us is that the liquid has to lie beneath or between the thickness of the glass, the bottle, wherever. So this is good enough. I'm just going to do it on this top part because our render won't cover the whole bottle. It will just cover this top part, as you've already seen in the beginning of the video. And so we have our beer right here. Yes. Okay. Also, let's recalculate the normals of this the beer object, because later when we jump into the materials, we will see that we will use a volume absorption node, and if the normals are not well calculated, it produces horrible results, but we'll get there. The last thing I'm going to do in this object is recreate a surface extension. So I'm going to grab this top part, I'm going to extrude it up, then extrude it up once more and close it down, like so, and then extrude down. Because, as you probably already noticed, when you're drinking your glass of water or any other liquid, the surface tension makes the liquid stick to the glass. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Surface tension has quite a bit of theory behind it. I had to study it this semester. I had a class on heat transfer. Which I'm not such a big fan of thermodynamics and whatnot, but it was interesting, and it's an important field of engineering, so we just have to make it work. And now I'm jumping into the foam per se. We will do. Why do I have 2 beer objects? I don't know. What's now I'm confused. Yeah, perhaps I left over from a previous test run. It doesn't matter. What matters is what we're going to do now, which is the foam, which was by far the hardest part of preparing this tutorial, especially the materials. I had to invent quite a bit of tricky ways of doing realistic foam. I experimented with a lot of things. Actually, what we're going to do, instead of I'm not being smart. I'm going to again select the bottle. I press B, so I select these top vertices all the way here, and I'm going to do the same as I did before. Shift D, separate by selection. And like that I have this top object. I'm going to remove the solidify modifier, and I will base my phone around this. It makes more sense than what I was doing. I'm going to grab this top part, extrude it up, and for now I'm just going to basically make an object that accompanies this side of the bottle, and then we're going to complete this in sculpt mode. This is the most tedious and I guess work demanding part of the tutorial, but it's the most crucial part as well, because we have to make a foam that looks realistic, and it basically is what makes this render work or not, obviously. So I'm just following along these lines. I don't want to mess with fluid simulations or whatnot. I guess you could if you wanted to in this part. I just don't think it's worth it. I prefer to do it this way. I'm going to create a loop cut here. Oops. And I think I'm going to fast forward the rest of this part until I reach the sculpting stage, because otherwise it's too boring for you to just watch me extrude this over and over again. So I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, so welcome back. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go into edit mode with this object, and I'm going to select these the part of the foam that's inside of the bottle, and I'm going to hide it because I do not want to mess with it while I'm playing with sculpt mode. So I'm just going to press H and come back to edit mode, and now let's play around with sculpt mode. So the fundamental tools we're going to use are three. We're going to need this one, snake hook, that's already selected, because I'm going to make it look, I'm going to basically modify this part in order to make it look as the liquid is also flowing along this part of the bottle. So that's what I'm aiming for with what I'm doing here. I'm just going to select this and bring it over here, like so. No, this is not what I want. Let's select this for this as well. Bring it over here. Okay, this was too much. This is for now looking very awkward, but we can fix this. Like so. I'm still not a very big expert on sculpt mode, but this is good practice. And we want this to flow like so. Wait, this is looking a bit too awkward. I'm just going to go back. This is just too strange. Okay, we're back. 29 Control Z. Nice. I think I'm going to increase the radius and just do this more carefully this time. That was just looking too awful for my taste. Okay, this is better now. Yes, this is more what we're looking for. Also, the topology is not as abhorrent, I guess. Let me see. Let me use the smooth tool. And make this look a bit more fluid. Here as well. Yes, exactly. Okay, this is looking a bit better. Yes, this is what we're looking for. I'm also going to do something similar to the other side. And now I'm using the grab tool, which is also a powerful tool in this case. Let's use the smooth tool to do the same here. so. And let's just fix this part right here. Great, okay. This is looking quite well. And this is our foam. Probably the most annoying part of this project. And next we're going to go and do the bottle opener. And that should be the last remaining part of this modeling section of the video. Oh yeah, also don't forget to do Alt H so you get the rest of the foam back. I'll press smooth. Great, so this is our foam, and let's go and do the bottle opener. Modeling the bottle opener, I started out with a plane, then I went into edit mode and added a loop cut so I could decrease the size in the middle. So it created this weird T shape, and then I extruded along the axis, following the shape of a reference image. And after that, what I did, I basically I created a few loop cuts, so I could cut out the middle part, the middle faces. I added a few more loop cuts in the middle, so I could add those displacements in the middle where one part is more, let's say, lowered and the other ones are higher up. And after that was done, I just connected the faces once more. It's a bit of a tedious process, but to be honest, I found this to be the easiest way out of them all. I didn't think it was worth it for you to watch me do this in real time. That's why I'm recording this while the footage is being played at 5 times the speed. And then the handle is just a cylinder with a subsurface modifier. But you can do something more complex. I just didn't want to lose time, as this is not the most crucial part of the render. I wanted to do something more simplified, I guess. But it's completely up to you. In regards to the materials, I set up a scene right here with the 3 lighting system and a background plane, which will be the start, our basis for the final materials. So I made an image in Inkscape, I mean. Oops, I'm already messing up. Creating endless windows. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Let's start. Node. I'll insert a principled shader followed by an image texture shader, and I will mix these two with a velvet shader. And this shall be our background. Oh, this shall serve us as a background. This image is very simple. It's just a simple gradient, which we will see now here in UV image editor. Background. Like so. Bam. Let's put in material view. This is what we want, and finally let's go again into editing mode, so we put a dark green as the velvet shader, something like this. Okay, so this is the start. Then let's do our bottle. Wait, let me just put my lighting system in a different layer. Let me put them here. Okay. The bottle itself, it's right here. This shall be only a two glass shaders. That mix using for now, and one of these will be a white, darkish, like a dark brown color, and the other one will be a white yellow color. Like so. Oops, this will be the bottle. Then the cap, the bottle cap, will be a principled metal color. With a glossy shader, and for now we want quite a bit of roughness and a base color. I don't know, we could also try something like a green. Yeah, this could be interesting, I guess, like a greenish but then it's just too much of an overload of green, I think. Let's just do we could try silver. That actually could work. Like a silvery cap, but it has to be glossier, metallic. Let's put it at 0.7, and let's put the roughness only at 0.1. Let's also smooth it out. Let's see how this looks. Oh, this looks interesting enough. Yeah, this could work. This could work. Let me just turn down this roughness. Okay, a bit more roughness in the principled shader, and I think we're good to go. The bottle opener it can be very similar to this one. I think we can copy most of it. We can perhaps play around with the color or something. Okay. With the surface we could do a like golden bottle opener. Let's just put everything at one. And this also as the bottle opener. Okie dokie. Then we will do the beer, which will be a straight out copy from Blender Guru's tutorial on how to make beer, which is just a glass shader and a volume absorption node in the volume, which is a like dark yellow with more density, less density. Let's see. Give this a test render. This could work. Let's also I almost forgot. I also have a label that we can add right now. Let's select these faces. Actually, the best place would be here for the label. Let's cylinder unwrap. Well, let's add a different material, which will be our label. Link to an image texture image, which I also made in Inkscape. Here it is, Super Blender. Let's make this less. Okay, something like this. Yes. Let's also do a quick render, see how it's looking. Yeah, it's okay. It's good enough for what we want. Then finally the foam, which was really the hardest part. I can actually show you several iterations I had of the foam. So this was one of the first, which turned out to be one of the best materials I produced. Then I tried to increase the like whiteness of the foam, which you can see here, which just didn't work out well. And yeah, these were the final tests I made. In Blender in Blender Guru's tutorial on how to make beer, he does a very simple trick which works out in his situation, which is just a volume absorption node. It works out quite well, but the problem is we have all of those small bubbles coming out, and we have to represent it in a way. So the way to do this, or the way I found to be the best to do this, is with a principled shader with subsurface scattering, like a light gray color. Then we will mix it with a translucent shader in a mix shader. Then we will add a texture coordinate. So we have the Vernois texture, object to vector, with a scale of 150. Then we will repeat this process again with the fuck of the texture. The fuck will also go to the displacement of the foam. Let me actually rename this texture to foam, this material rather, and then we will mix this with another translucent shader. Then finally, perhaps we will have to mess with the scale. We will add a volume absorption node. Let's see if I put it at 100 or 200. Let's give it a quick render and see how this turns out to be. I'm not too happy with this material. I'm going to insert the cut right here, and I'm going to play around with this with these settings until I find something that I further enjoy, because this is not convincing me at all. So just give me a second. And okay, so I managed to finally make a texture that I find enjoyable, and the way it turned out to be is this way. It's a principled shader with 0.1 in subsurface scattering, paired with a subsurface scattering shader with a cubic interpolation and a Fresnel node into a mix shader, which then mixes once more with a translucent shader, and its FOC comes from a Vernois texture with scale of 200, which also goes into the displacement, and with a volume absorption of 1, with a density of 1 into the volume. This produced the best results, in my opinion, and this leaves us with the finishing touches. So, regarding the droplets, I started with a UV sphere, and I modeled these simple looking droplets, which are just UV spheres modeled with proportional editing. Then I selected my bottle and added a particle system with hair type. You tick in advanced. I have the emission coming from the faces with even distribution using a random logic. The normal is at 0.25, tangent as well, size 0.16, and random size 0.5. And this is the result. Then I also did the same to both the cap and the bottle opener, and this is the result. And it's looking realistic. In terms of the material, we can check it out real quick. It's it's just a simple shader, a gloss shader mixed with a transparent BSDF linked with a Fresnel node. Now onwards to the smoke effects. Instead of doing the smoke in Blender, why not just open up GIMP? That's what I'm going to show you right now. There are amazing free smoke brushes on the internet, and this should be very easy if we do it in GIMP. So I just wanted to show you how to do it very quickly. So here we have our finished render. I'm just going to copy this this image, and I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, and I have my smoke brushes here. I downloaded this pack off of DeviantArt. I will put it in the description. And what I'm going to do is just select a cool looking smoke brush. I have my opacity at approximately 50%, and I'm just going to, you know, do something like this and select a different one. I will mess with the proportion, or with the size rather. Whoa. So to resize it like so. Well, perhaps a bit closer. Well, let me mess with the angle as well, like so. And let's go for another brush. They are all very huge. Yes, something like this. and once more we'll do this. Then we are going to activate this layer, and I'm going to basically create a alpha mask. Oh, it's already on because it's a PNG. I guess that makes sense. Let's turn down the tolerance, and let's clear this image up. Yeah, like so. I've deleted too much right here. Don't know when though. Let's go back a few times. Here, okay. We can also just do this with the eraser. And just like do this along the lines. Like so. Yeah, and like that we have our finished image. Like I said, I wasn't planning on adding this part, but I was just editing the last remaining the segments for the tutorial, and I thought might as well show this part as well. Like that you don't have to do any fluid simulation in Blender. And it looks cool anyway. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.